Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 4, Day 2 of Friend or Foe Season 6, Heroic League, just about through the halfway point. I'm Zane Zenzen Nelson, and joining me on the cast today, I have my good friend, Utility Monster. How's it going, pal?
It's going great. It's fun to kick off the second round robin of this league, and I'm glad that we get to start it with these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, Team in the Trees have looked incredibly dominant thus far in the Heroic League, but many other teams sort of vying into that position. And I think Wet Team is a team that has seen some moments of success and have a couple of well-experienced heroic members on their team that could look to maybe upset this team. So I don't think that it's a foregone conclusion at all as we see the bands rapid fire coming across.
Yeah, Sharu looked really good on the Vladimir a few games ago, sort of solo won a game for Wet Team, so taking that away. And then Wet themselves are taking away Kenny Harrisbeck's Vayne. I think he's looked quite impressive on that. He's always in a good place and always hitting, and Vayne's a good champion to always be hitting on.
Yeah, especially, I mean, in these sort of competitive environments, you see a ton of teams default to like a standard front-to-back composition, and that's the kind of thing that Vayne can be incredibly powerful against. So I'm excited to see that Wet correctly identifying a strategy that they want to lock down. Also taking away the Zillion, which I find somewhat interesting. In the Trees, gonna lock things in first with an Udyr. That's exciting.
Yeah, so it's finally allowed after taking a patch off to make sure there were no bugs with the champion. But yeah, that can go top or jungle, so a nice flex pick. And the Zillion band that you're talking about, that's targeted at He Who Slops, who is a Zillion aficionado. And before we get too far into it, Jeff UZ is also subbing in the mid lane for In the Trees, so no Broccoli today, but Hecarim Sivir.
Yeah, so Wet already identifying a key strategy. They want to run at a straight line in their opponents very quickly. Sivir, of course, very powerful character in recent times, although I do believe received a nerf on this patch, so we'll have to see how she's still holding up. Meanwhile, the Twitch, a classic counter pick, one that unfortunately my team TDE was not able to handle, and the Lulu paired up for it In the Trees, starting things off strong.
Yeah, I really like the Twitch Lulu as an answer to Sivir. Sivir got quite a bit weaker off of the nerf to her W wave clear. It doesn't affect that much late game. It's only a small nerf then, but early game it's about a sixth of the damage gone, which is a pretty big percentage nerf. So definitely a big hit to her laning, and that's going to be even harder to survive against a tough lane like Twitch, who can just run her down. But the Taric is also locked in, also nerfed this patch, but very on theme for this run at you while invincible comp.
Yeah, and I really like the Taric pick for once week here because one of the problems that you run into with Twitch is that Twitch has crazy insane burst damage, and it makes it very difficult to actually continue a fight long enough that you can defeat that character. However, granting that ultimate on the majority of your team gives you that longevity, just long enough to actually close the distance, and this is also going to help out Chairman Meow as well on the Hecarim, just to have full confidence to charge forward. Because I gotta say, if I'm looking at this composition prior to this Taric being locked in, as a Hecarim, I'm not super excited about charging in by myself into a Lulu polymorph and then an Udyr stun, you know what I mean? So I like that they're continuing to draft on their theme, and Darius going to be the pickup blind up into Fish Magesh.
Yeah, this is a bacon pancake special. He is a big fan of this Darius. I believe it's the most played in ranked. If not this season, it definitely has been in the past. So willing to play that into anything. And I think that also speaks to some of the bans. I mean, you see the Mordekaiser ban already thrown out. So maybe not sure what else to go blind. And Fish Magish will pick up the set. That's something he's very good at historically and was just buffed in this patch as well. So INT clearly reads the patch notes.
Yeah, and this is a classic INT composition coming together. I mean, every player on so much comfort. Bow Explode, trying something out new with the Udyr. We'll have to see how it goes. Jeffa's also on that control mage in the mid lane. And this is looking like teams really know what they want to get. And the instant Syndra lock for Sharyu, I actually quite like this in this game, because Team in the Trees does not have a great way to like hard engage a fight, and being able to throw out that stun from Syndra is going to make it even more challenging.
Yeah, I think it makes sense in the team composition. I don't think Syndra's in the strongest champion right now. I think Jeff UZ on this Victor is going to have a lot of chances to sort of survive laning phase, where Syndra has historically been oppressive against control mages, and then do have an easier time doing damage in team fights. But we'll see how it goes. Definitely a lot of runbacks from Wet Team here. I mean, I think they ran at least the Hecarim, Sivir, Taric yesterday as well. So I believe they may have also had the Syndra, but I could be wrong on that.
All right. Well, as we hop onto the Rift here, I have to ask your opinion as a jungler in the Mythic League. Where do you think these two junglers want to spend their time in the early game? Udyr, sort of a newer character after the rework, maybe has some change-ups that we're less familiar with. I'm excited to see where they want to go in order to maximize their advantage for INT.
Well, so Udyr, in my opinion, takes advantage of the fact that he has a very fast clear with the Phoenix stance, and so I expect to see sort of full clear and then gank a lane while your camps are down and then go back to full clear. Hecarim is a lot more flexible. He can do the same thing. He can just full clear, but there's also a lot of interesting chances for early ganks with sort of running out of the Fog of War at Mach 10 and blowing someone up. So that's, I think, the more interesting one to keep track of. The Udyr, the more important thing is where Udyr will start. Because if you start top side, then you're going to be playing for bottom lane, or if you're starting red, as it looks like is the case, it's going to be full clearing to top and then playing for top and mid.
Yeah, I mean, and INT has had so much experience as this 5-man roster, playing around where Bo Explode wants to go. I know that they're a great voice on the team, and particularly on these sort of tankier characters like his signature Sejuani, always seems to be at the right spot at the right time to make things happen. So does look like both junglers going to be starting on the bottom half of the map and pathing up towards that top side. So my eyes are immediately drawn to this battle in the top side between Set and Darius, a very volatile matchup that can go either way and go one way quite badly, I feel.
Yeah, and Udyr is stopping to do the Krugs. Krugs on the first clear are, if you're a farming jungler, one of the most important camps to clear because they're worth reduced gold and experience until they respawn the second time. But yeah, Udyr will be going for the full clear, and Hecarim looks like also going for a full clear unless he skips some top half camps.
Bacon Pancakes does hit the level 2. Now this is a big power spike for Darius, and you can look at the bleed stacks. W going to come out, flash burn from Fish Magish. Huge W for Bacon Pancakes, starting things off strong.
Yeah, Ghost for Flash is definitely a favorable trade. Fish does have teleport, so could try and clear out this wave and teleport back. And there's also a chance that because of the pushing wave, there's a window for Udyr to gank top lane here. But yeah, definitely a favorable trade there for Bacon Pancakes, and good to see the knowledge of Darius' trading.
Yeah, Darius, an incredibly oppressive top laner to run into. I've had many a times where I go, surely I can trade auto attacks with this guy. Like, I'm playing Set, I'm playing Garen. Nope. That bleed early on is just so brutal, and we saw a pinch of that there. Going for another trade here. Going to get a little bit of damage stacked up. This trade not quite going out as well for Bacon Pancakes. Ends up taking the brunt of the Haymaker. Going to be chunked down very low. Now he's in trouble and has to get out of there.
Yeah, Set W was one of the targets for buffs this patch, and we see a jungle skirmish, but Fish Magish is here first, but wow, Hecarim is just doing way more damage.
Oh my goodness,
okay?
Chairman Mao, Bacon Pancakes coming in hot. They're going to pick up the kill. Jeff is now here to join, but Chairman Mao might be able to run through the choke. Is going to commit to it. No, the fantastic jump out will allow Charyu to join in the action. Bacon Pancakes now chasing them down, and I think this is going to be a double kill. Jeff is nowhere to run. 2 kills picked up for Team Wet, and they are starting strong.
That was a huge skirmish. I don't know. I didn't see the start of the Hecarim versus Udyr engagement, but it looked like Bo Explode maybe just wasn't expecting Hecarim to be right there, and ended up just getting absolutely demolished by the Hecarim damage. And so the fact that Fish on the set was able to get there first and had more HP just didn't matter at all. And then Shari with a nice roam to get the slow and get the second kill. Man, that's a great start, and 2-0 in the top lane as well. So that's going to be a really hard matchup for Set to live through from here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Team Wet having this potential. I mean, although they're sitting at this 3-4 record, a lot of this league is sort of in this this middle ground where INT is very clearly the strongest team currently, but there are a lot of challengers to the throne, and this is exactly what you want for this team, getting those early kills, particularly on Hecarim and Darius, characters that are known to be able to snowball massive leads, is a huge advantage and puts them at a 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah, 3 and 4, I believe, is actually part of the four-way tie for fourth place. So very, very competitive, middle of the table here in this league, and yeah, definitely not something that INT should be overlooking. This is sort of not a below average team at all.
Yeah, so it looks like both teams going to reset a little bit. Bacon Pancakes, he just wants to scrap, but is this going to be enough? Taken very low, still fighting in the minion wave. This is going to be really, really close, and ultimately,
God.
He just stands there and slaps him with the axe. Bacon Pancakes knows his damage and knows that he can just take the fight.
Yeah, that's just knowing you don't do enough damage, and I do, and I will just stand here and hit you until you do something. And Fish McGish was just wrong. That's sort of just a call out of, yeah, you don't know the damage.
That is crazy, but it does look like Bo Explode gonna try and clean this up. Ghost's gonna be popped from Bacon Pancakes. He's gonna try and run out of here. He's actually just free. Oh yeah. My goodness, he's just out
too fast. Just too fast. And there is a pink ward now dropped in that top river bush, so wouldn't be surprised to see Chairman Meow after finishing his Krugs go over and clear that. But yeah, no, great play here from Bacon Pancakes, and Wet has a very key way to play this game. It's through top lane.
Yeah, I mean, that said, Kenny Hammerspike, this is not to say that every hope is lost for INT, right? We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Kenny Hammerspike, still on that Twitch, has an incredible counter matchup into that Sivir. Sivir, very difficult to, like, get farm in the mid to later stages of the game because Twitch can just pop out of nowhere and immediately obliterate. So my eyes now transition over to this bottom side. We know that Bacon Pancakes has this lead, but will INT be able to eke something in the mid or perhaps in the bottom? Churyu doing a fair amount of damage and managing to keep Jeffa's trapped in a lane with low mana. But look at, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness!
Oh my god. Yeah, that's Darius is snowballing, and now that's just brutal. I mean, yeah, maybe Set's, trading too aggressively against a 3-0 Darius, but man, it feels bad when you just can't play the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, he completed the Sheen, and, not a lot of people have the confidence to just, like, full stack take the Haymaker and just say, no, I'm going to beat you after that. But Bacon Pancakes knowing his stuff. Flash going to be burned from Charyu here. And with that, with a 4-0 lead at 7.5 minutes, you have to imagine that the entire game is now just centered on this top side. What can INT do in terms of damage control to bring things back?
I mean, the big one is going to be trying to group up for team fights. Darius famously can get kited out in team fights, can get damaged taken by ranged characters, so trying to get Twitch to an item or two and then taking some dragon fights, but yeah, it's going to be a rough time for Fish until that point in the game.
Yeah, and in the mid lane as well, Charyu making full use of that teleport to keep the tempo lead on Jeffas. Hasn't been able to recall yet and is completely out of mana. Does put him in somewhat of a dangerous spot as well. I'm not sure if he wants to stay here. Trying to get this wave shoved out. I think he's going to be fine, but ooh, boy, is it scary.
Yeah. I am reminded watching this game of Wet's game against Washed. I believe it was week 1. And Bacon Pancakes was playing Mordekaiser that game, but similar things happened. Sort of got an early couple of kills and then really took over the game, and that was ended up being a win for Wet.
The squad is here. Ultimate pop from Sivir. They're trying to get on to Jeffos. The ultimate will come through, and a clean 2 kills picked up, and they are riding this momentum. Wet is going hard right now.
Yeah, poor Jeff is there, just getting absolutely murked by 4 people. Blow Explode is not enough to keep him alive, and that's going to be Dragon. And this is a kind of a runaway early game for Wet. You can't have imagined anything better than this going into this game against INT.
Yeah, I mean, particularly with these champions, right? They literally want to run at them in a straight line. Kenny Hammerspike trying to do something cheeky here, but I don't know that he wants to do this. This is going to be very difficult. Yeah, just going to go ahead and... back out, opt not to take the steal, and I have to say, I think that was a wise decision.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, this top lane, Fish Magish does have a CS lead, so Bacon Pancakes maybe missing some farm trying to get the harass in, but yeah, I feel for this set, man. I feel.
As someone who tried to play top lane in Heroic for a year and it was just a miserable experience, I can tell you that when you start the losing, particularly in a competitive environment, like, it becomes very hard to come back from this. Now, I will say that one thing that INT has going for them is that they have a second side laner, right? Like, if later into the game they can send this Victor into the side lane and it's mostly fine, so that's something going on. But
yeah, Victor will never have
you
pressure on the
just have to
Darius. Yeah, Victor will never have pressure on Darius, but Victor can just wave clear under tower fairly safely. Although at this point, I don't know, maybe Darius is strong enough that you can just tank the tower and dive a squishy Victor. That would be the worry if Victor has to match the Darius instead of the set.
Yeah, and you can look at, watch Bo Explode's pathing here. He keeps, like, wandering up to this top side and thinking about taking that blast cone. But, you can tell that this is, like, the thing that they have to solve right now, because they keep thinking about what can we do to handle this. Can we go for this gank here? Probably not. There's a huge wave. We don't want to risk it. And that just, this is going to be the question that is hanging over this game. Can Bo find a way to fix this? And it looks like he's kicking things off with a bit of a gank in mid. Nothing too crazy going to happen, though.
I like that choice better. It's really hard to fix a lane that's that far behind, especially a Darius who can just 1v2 so easily. So I like playing for mid and bot here and flipping his path and clearing top to bot. But doing all this, trying to save some lanes, the pressure from topside has really let Chairman Meow get a huge CS lead. Oh my gosh.
Is it enough? The bleed won't quite kill.
That's not going to kill.
That's still going to chunk out Fish Magish, and he's going to be sent, packing his bags home, and that's going to even up the CS lead and perhaps get another plate to Bacon Pancakes.
Yeah. But what I was saying is, you can look at the jungle farm. There's a 25 CS lead here for Chairman Meow, and that's off of this lane pressure, just letting him farm as efficiently as he can, get all the crabs, and that's going to be another thing to talk about in these team fights. Is it's not just the Darius who's ahead. The team is actually. Oh my goodness!
I mean, this is the culmination of a ton of prep from Charyu, continuing to put on the pressure onto the Victor. Clearly knows their stuff with the Syndra, and that's just an easy combo to fill out the kill. And this is actually a huge W, because that was sort of the last place that Bo Explode was looking to be able to go to try and make something happen. And now it just feels like INT kind of falling apart.
Yeah, you gotta go bot lane now, but Sivir is just gonna wave clear, so I don't know what you can do. But yeah, Jeffa's as a Season 4 support for INT, so definitely off-rolled here in the mid lane. Feel bad for him coming into a tough spot, but oh no, Bacon Pancakes is here.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and land the ultimate. Here comes Chairman Meow to make this an easy W. Now, Fish Magish could do a lot of damage. The Haymaker not quite gonna land. That's gonna be another kill to Bacon Pancakes. 5-0. And making this game look easy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the only question is, does Bacon Pancakes get the MVP for snowballing, or is Chairman Meow for that early 2v2 topside that really got this lead going? Because, my goodness, those two have really taken over this game, and it is impressive to see.
Even had the Rift Herald crash to finish off that tower, so first set of plates, full 5 over to Bacon Pancakes to kick things off. Meanwhile, we haven't really seen a lot of action in this bottom lane. Trinity Force coming through, though. Ooh, boy.
13-minute Trinity Force, full boots, and another component, just in case you wanted a little bit of extra HP and movement speed. That is brutal. Although, okay, so this is actually the part of the game where we see if Wet knows how to snowball the lead, because the obvious edge in top lane is you get a CS lead, you take the top tower. Now what? If you just keep going back top lane, you're still going to be ahead, but that's not going to win you the game anytime soon. So we'll see if Wet can transition this Darius elsewhere on the map and either take towers or take dragons. Yeah,
it's always an interesting dilemma as a top laner. Although Bacon Pancake, oh no, Fish Not like this. Fish, what's happening? Where are you going, buddy?
Oh
He's gonna
God,
walk at him and right-click him. Now, Fish McGish might be able to walk out of here. Nah,
no.
nah, he's just accepted his fate. He's just trying to get some farm, and it's not good.
Yeah, Fish.
Charyu now maybe in a bit of trouble. Bow Explode not quite gonna commit into the lane. Doesn't want to reveal his location just yet. Is gonna be spotted out on that pink board, but oh my goodness, like what do you even do?
Fish heard that Bo Explode's benching him after this game as Evolved Noob, sort of the longtime member of the INT friend group, has finally finished his ranked games to come back in, and he's took that personally. He is inting Bo Explode as hard as he can in his last INT game.
I'm sure that's not it, man. He's just doing his best. Listen, as a top laner, as like somebody who plays Singed, I have been there. I feel that in my soul when you like walk up to lane and you're like, oh, the guy's behind me. But here we go. We got a bit of a dragon skirmish here. Bow Explode gonna take a lot of damage for the chunk. Trying to go in for the steal. Will he be able to get it? The ultimate comes through from Tarek, and ultimately, Chairman Mao secures the kill. Bow Explode as well gonna fall. Ultimate coming through, trying to continue the chase. He Who Slops, not long for this world, trying to run as far away as they can. Jeffas maybe gets here with the slow. Will it be enough? Yes! Keeps the support alive. Now Chairman Meow completely separated, maybe in a bit of trouble. Jeff is finally able to pick up the first kill of the game for INT. Kenny Hammerspike now walking in here. Charyu going to be caught as well. Stun lands onto Lulu, but Flash has to be burned. The flash forward from Kenny Hammerspike, but Bacon Pancakes has arrived on the scene, and this is not what you want to see for the Rat. Ultimately, they're gonna trade, but no! Here comes Fish McGish from downtown, able to secure another kill. So 2 kills picked up, and a very messy and elongated fight, but ultimately some good news for INT.
Yeah, so this initial play, Bo Exploded, he knows he's dead here. He's trying for the Dragon Steal. Delaying the game 5 minutes would be huge, and he doesn't get that, so that's a big win for Wet Team. But then they overextend a little bit. I mean, it looks like Lulu's dead, so you can understand it, but ultimately, Chairman Meow is CC'd to death by Lulu and Victor together, and then Wet Team tries to come salvage it and ends up giving over another kill. So, unfortunate, but definitely you still have to take Wet Team in this game state.
Yeah, for sure. And, I do like the aggression from Kenny Hammerspike to just, like, full commit, right? Because they know that they're in a desperate situation. Also, a fantastic cleanse to try and just get something to happen, right? We need kills, we need shutdowns in order to get ourselves back off the ground. Saw the opportunity, tried to go for it. Wasn't as successful as they would have liked, but here we are back to live as Twitch just barely misses out on actually running into Turtle of Doom. So now we take a look at we take stock, 4,000 gold lead for Team Wet.
And almost as big as 2 Dragons to 0, because that's really the clock macro-wise that's decided in this game. And it's a Cloud Soul. A lot of people think that doesn't give combat power. When it's a Darius and he's running at you with Cloud Soul, I guarantee you that is effectively combat power, because if Darius can stick to you, you are so dead.
Yeah. And working on, I believe, a Dead Man's Plate as well, so going to be even faster to walk to his opponents.
And Fish McGish just finished Bork. I mean, that's the item disparity. Is we're halfway to item 2 and Bork was just finished. It's not even a mythic, just absolutely living in poverty in top lane.
Yeah, does look like Wet taking full advantage of their item lead. Gonna go ahead and pick up the second Rift Herald if they can. Went ahead and smartly rotated once week up to the top side, so this is going to be an easy pick. This does leave Turtle of Doom vulnerable, as we see Bow Explode wandering around the bottom side, but without a minion wave at that bottom tower, I think Turtle of Doom is going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think just knowing that the jungler is in the top half of the map, poke your head into the bot jungle, see if you can take a camp or 2. Take the small wins, because you're not getting very many big wins here.
So, I mean, INT, you can tell that this is a strategic team, and they know roughly what they need to do in order to make things happen. They need to be aggressive with Kenny Hammerspike. They need to find, like, the small bits that they can take, but it's just a matter of whether or not Wet will give them the opportunity, because at this position, I feel like Wet is so strong that they should close this out 100% of the time. But as we say
Oh
that, huge
no.
skirmish, Ultimate going to kill Jeffa's. Now Churyu on the run. Kenny Hammerspike trying to get in here, but does not have the move speed to actually secure these kills, and they just walk out scot-free.
Indeed. Yeah, really nice terror cult to keep everyone alive and safe. And yeah, poor Jeffus. He had really good gravity wells in the team fight after Dragon was taken, but has had a hard time laning. He's even in farm, but 4 deaths is a rough spot to be.
Yeah.
Bot lane, though, for INT is actually doing okay. Kenny Hammerspike is almost an item parity with the Sivir, and I think this Twitch Lulu is where you're going to have to look in the next team fight for sort of a miraculous, like, hitting 4 people with Twitch ult at the same time type of team fight if INT wants to win.
Yeah. And speaking of next team fights, we have about 1 minute until Dragon. This is about the time when teams should be starting to look to find that vision and set up whether or not they want to take that play. And speaking of vision, I want to take a brief moment and take a look at the vision of Wet. They have 3 pink wards committed to the top side of the map to allow Bacon Pancakes to move wherever they want to go. And this makes this very scary for Fish. And you can just see Pancakes is hunting again. Will he be able to get behind him? Is spotted out by the ward. But man, it's just so scary. It's so hard to defend because they put those pink wards there in advance.
Yeah, no, some nice vision control. It does mean they're potentially lacking some pink wards for this Dragon setup. And also, if you look at completed items, Darius is on 2, but everyone else in the game is on 1 item and components. And yes, those components do favor Wet Team, but this is potentially a decent window for INT to fight. But also, I wouldn't hate if they just say, you know what, we're going to take as late a fight as possible because we're behind. So definitely interesting to see what they choose. Dragon spawns in 3 seconds.
Yeah, Fish as well, TPing in early to try and get here. So this is going to be a full 5-on-5. Looks like INT going to go ahead and kick things off. Teams kind of split. Chairman Meow actually running away. Bacon Pancakes, okay, they're playing for Jeffa's, going to be taken very low. They're going to sack the Dragon, I believe.
Yeah. I really don't like that call from Wet Team. I think you just commit to the Dragon fight. You have to think you're stronger, and this really delays your potential soul take. Yes, they get mid tower. They almost get a kill, but...
Oh, second TP. Jeffas is here. Did they see it come out? Gonna have to walk the long way. So, looks like they want to take this fight. Gonna get the stun onto Wug Sweet. Will they be able to burst him down before the ultimate? No! Bacon Pancakes now in the center of things. Fish McGish gonna have a great ultimate into a stun to pick up 2 kills, and they're right next to the Baron, Josh.
Oh my goodness. I think that's the comeback fight you're looking for is... You get the Dragon, you chase them down, you catch them with some staggered recalls, and yeah, taking out those 2 soul laners, that is Baron. I wonder if Hecarim's on the other side of the map, there's no chance for a steal. So yeah, that's just going to be Baron, and INT is right back in this game after a disastrous early game. My goodness, these guys do not give up, and that's why they're undefeated so far.
Yeah, I honestly cannot believe that turn of events. First, I felt like it was very strange the way the teams tried to evaluate the Dragon fight, right? We saw, you know, INT was like, we want this Dragon, we want to stop the Dragon stacking, and they hard commit to it. They push everybody into the bottom lane. And I thought for sure that Wet was going to take that fight, but they chose not to. Although, Kenny Hammerspike with the move speed, oh no. Oh, the E!
Forces a flash, but will die, yeah. No, and I think that last Dragon fight, going back to it, if you flipped the team goals, it would have made a lot more sense, right? You have the team, one team's on Dragon, and one team's, not sure if they can contest, and the team finishes Dragon and tries to run down the other team. Like, INT was down 5,000 gold, and they're like, no, we're going to do Dragon, we're going to run you down. And I think Wet Team just wasn't expecting it, and they weren't playing around it quite properly, and because not everyone was there and ready to fight, they ended up giving even more away. And that's really what you're looking for if you're behind, is where can we surprise them and take advantage?
Pleds from Kenny Hammerspike going to be taken very low. Ultimate popped now from He Who Slops. Won't be enough to keep Kenny alive, but multiple members of INT are now on their way. CC immunity from the Udyr gonna keep him in the fight. Polymorph power through, flash forward from Jeffas, and they're looking for more. I think once week gonna be dove under this tower. Bow Explode is so tanky at this point, but they don't have the damage to finish things off. So another kill picked up for INT, and all of a sudden, we're down to a 2k gold lead.
Yeah, INT really overloading that bot side. Let's see what they'll lose on top half, but they've already lost all their towers mid, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get too much tower pressure on this top inner from Sharu and Bacon Pancakes. So, yeah, just a win bottom side and not much given up. Really, really well played. INT, yeah, they're looking for the chance they're given. They're looking for where can we overload the other half of the map, and where can we take fights where our opponents maybe aren't expecting it. And they've come back in this game. I think I would still rather be red side here. I would still rather have Wet Team's champions in gold lead, but I like their position a lot better 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, for sure. And the way that INT is playing actually reminds me very much of your team in the Mythic League, UV. You know, where they have players on their team that are just willing to commit to fights in ways that surprise other teams. You know, you look at this and you're like, surely, Wet's like, I got a 6-1 Darius. Surely you'll never take a fight, you know, against me. Like, because we're just stronger. You just won't do that, right? And Bow Explode's like, nah, man, I got this. Trust.
Yeah,
and it catches them off guard, and all of a
Set's
sudden,
gonna flash in and ult to Darius. It's like, wait, you're going on me? It's like, yeah, we are. And if you're not expecting it, then suddenly Darius is dead, and the rest of the team, you know, stood in shock silence for a split second, and that was all the window that was needed. So, yeah, sometimes committing to questionable plays as a team of 5 people is so strong that it doesn't matter if it's not the optimal thing to do.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that! Look at that money plant there. Gonna find 3.
No, it missed the one in Pixel.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, that is sad.
That is sad. Bow Explode, what are you doing? Click your button better, man. But let's take a moment to take stock of this game, because a lot has changed. 30 seconds coming up on the Dragon. Again, Team Wet still does hold the lead, and they're doing their best to establish vision control. However, in terms of item components, Kenny Hammerspike completely on par with Sivir leading into this fight.
Yeah, 80 carries are on par, and mid laners are actually pretty close to on par. We have the Void Staff for Sharu, which I actually don't like that much. There's not that much magic resist on the side of INT. Both has the Mythic, and that's about it. So I think that the Zhonya's on Victor is a little bit better, but Wet Team is on Dragon this time. They're going to be in position first, so let's see if INT can contest
TP
this.
coming through, and
Stolen.
they steal from Bow Explode! Kicks things off. He Who Slops now on the run, gonna flash a multiple members of the team coming in.
Oh my god!
Huge haymaker from Fish Magish completely turns this game around. I can't believe it. And they're going to take that victory to the bank. 4 kills picked up, and INT proving that they're the best in the league.
That set play was enormous. He CC'd everybody. And yeah, Boxport gets the steal. He didn't get the last steal, but he gets this one. Just burst it down with the empowered auto and smite, and the Taric ult a tiny bit early. I don't hate that, but
look at this 4-person stun into a haymaker.
Absolutely brutal. And yeah, after that, I mean, that's just a fight-winning play right there for Bishop. He goes and kills himself to Syndra. He did his job. He can go die now. It's fine. He already died a lot in lane anyway. But oh my goodness, that was absolutely an MVP play.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, we've turned things around. We are now dead even in score. They're going to be up slightly ahead after they push out this tower and manage to spend their gold. And you know, they might look for more here. They're trying to hit this turret. I don't think that it's worth the commitment. Yeah, going to smartly back off. But if you're Wet and you're in this position, knowing that you had such a massive lead in the early game, where do you go from here?
It's important to try and forget what happened before, both if you're winning and losing, because sometimes you'll have been losing the whole game and you won't have the decisiveness to go for plays. That has not been INT's problem. And then on the flip side, you've been winning the whole game, so now you have to remind yourself that, hey, it's actually even. You know, we need to calm down, not get tilted from losing, but also not take any fight on sight anymore. Because yes, it used to be the case that every fight was good. We're at 5k gold. Now it's we have to take good fights. We have to sort of go back to basics, and that mental resetting can be really hard. I think that the the best players are the ones who are able to sort of be memoryless, to have this is the game state now, and I don't care what it was 5 minutes ago. But yeah, we'll see if Wet can really get that going, because INT sort of has played this perfectly to this point if you ignore the part where they got behind topside.
Yeah, and as we approach this next Baron, notice that Fish is off in a side lane, the only player in the game right now who has access to that teleport. So we'll be generating side push pressure, and it's on Team Wet to try and make something happen around this Baron, because now they're the team that's on the back foot. I don't believe that they have the scaling advantage. Because the Twitch exists in this game, they have to sort of be the team that does things now.
I think that's true, but I don't think it's true to the point where they have to get desperate anytime in the next 10 minutes. So Twitch goes in.
Yeah, Kenny Hammerspike getting a good chunk of damage. Gonna pop the ultimate and force Once Week back. I'm curious to see if this will be the signal to push into Baron. Pings are down to clear vision. Will INT commit to the objective? It looks like they're going to.
That's a big ult down, but it looks like Wet Team either doesn't think that they'll be willing to do this, or I don't know what, but they're a little bit slow getting here.
Yeah, recall's completed. Shiryu now coming in with a huge ultimate, trying to choke them out. Bow Explode now charging forward. Fish Magish in the back line lands another huge ultimate, completely catches Turtle of Doom by surprise, and now Team INT on the hunt for the purple worm. Bacon Pancakes and Once Week still trying to hold this off, but it's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, Turtle of Doom just running up a little bit too far, not realizing that the team isn't all there yet and that he can get engaged on so quickly.
Oh, Pancakes is so scary, man.
Yeah.
I know that he hasn't had that much success so far, but he's still a 6-1 Darius. Might actually face check this. Yes,
uh-oh.
Goodbye,
Kenny.
Just completely obliterated. Burns the flash as well.
Yeah, it turns out Darius has a magical axe that even if you go, a couple miles away, that ult's still coming down in your head.
Yeah, I mean, he just thought he was out. I didn't think about the pink ward that was there, and just got. So that's a huge pressure reliever for Wet, because with Twitch off of the map, it's so much easier to try and walk in and get these get this vision down, because you're no longer afraid of getting popped, out of nowhere. So this is going to give them the opportunity to sort of reset, figure out which of the objectives they want to push for, whether it's this dragon spawning in a minute or this Baron, and try to come back from this interesting position they found themselves, and teleporting onto the Baron right away.
They missed a pink ward, though, and I thought they were going to go for Dragon Division, but Once Week stayed topside. I'm not sure I like that call, but they think they can burn this before Twitch is up, and you know what? They're right. I was wrong. I thought they had to go for settle for Dragon, but nope, they're going to get the Baron, and INT says without Twitch, we can't fight.
Yeah, actually, great play from Wet. I mean, they also saw multiple members of the enemy team, of INT, pathing into the bottom side because they had the minion wave in mid lane. So that allows them the knowledge that they need to continue to push. And they're not stopping. They haven't figured out a reset yet. And this is going to be a bit of a base trade here. Fish going to take out this bottom turret, but INT has to respond to this massive push.
You can't base race Baron. That's impossible. No, Fish is going to recall here. Bugs would also find the recalling, but that's an inhibitor gone with. It might have gone down anyway. Baron is very strong, but it would have taken a lot longer, and you would have forced Wet to use up a lot more of the Baron. Now they can reset, come back with quite a bit of Baron still left, and try and get another inhibitor.
Yeah, so ultimately it's going to be 2 dragons and an inhibitor for 1 dragon and a cloud dragon. Fish going to teleport in just to make sure that they have the DPS to secure it. Does look like that's going to go over to INT. So 3 cloud dragons picked up for a team that really likes to have the move speed.
I think both these teams actually really like this movement speed. You have Hecarim and Darius and Sivir giving the movement speed on one side, then you have Set and Ujir on the other. And then it's also useful for the carries because they get to kite away. So I think this is actually the best Dragon Soul for both these teams in this game, and it's going to be big to fight. But Wet Team here has a chance before Soul spawns, and they still have Baron, to try and get more of a lead, more map pressure for that inevitable Soul fight. And if INT messes up, that's game over.
Yeah, double cannon minions stacked for Bacon Pancakes. This is the time, the window of opportunity here for them to continue to push. They should be able to get this tower down if they play it properly. Charyu in 1 week, walking down here to support. Actually, stun lands onto Fish McGish, taken very low, has to pop the ultimate from He Who Slops in order to stay alive.
Yep, Darius ult for Lulu ult. Fair enough trade, I suppose. And while we have a little bit of a lull with this Baron's use, I want to point out that Jeffus has, quietly, after starting the game, I think 0-4, 1-4, getting bullied a little bit by Sharu, has really come alive in these team fights. He's playing them really well. Has been
ultimate! They're going for it. Fish McGish starts things off. The Taric ultimate will turn things around for a brief while, though, and both teams just walk away. I cannot believe with how much action just happened that neither team had anyone die.
Yeah, Flash from Fish, Ghost from Bow Explode, both Summoners from Sivir, Flash from Syndra, and the Taric ult. I think that's favoring INT. I think they blew fewer cooldowns, but yeah, that was a crazy exchange to have no one die. But yeah, back to Jeffus. Like, look at him. He's a 4 victor. He has a 700 gold bounty. He's like 6-0 in the past 20 minutes. This guy is absolutely the player to watch. I thought it was going to be Kenny Hammerspike in these team fights that you had to watch. The Twitch getting big Twitch ults, and Kenny's done a good job with the Lulu, but it's actually been Jeff who's really come alive in these team fights to get INT back in the game, and I think he's the biggest threat in the map right now.
Yeah, and I know that you were thinking about that Void Staff, but actually, because INT has been granted the time to scale, this pickup is looking better and better, right? Force of Nature completed for Bacon Pancakes. Rather tanky, 1 week as well, also providing a great front line with the Merc Treads as well. So this is the time, as you say, where Victor, gets to shine and gets to be that big AoE fighter. Fish looking for something.
Victor
here.
also delayed the Void Staff to, I believe, 3rd, which is a little bit more defensible against this Bacon Pancakes Force of Nature, whereas Syndra just now finished Death Cap and had been on just Void Staff and AP to this point, and I would have loved to see those items reversed. I think that there's just so little value for magic penetration right now against INT. But Bacon Pancakes, I think he can 1v2, but maybe not anymore.
Well, he might not have to. He's taken very, very low, will go down, but the rest of the members of the team are coming through. Kenny Hammerspike, though, also here on Twitch in stealth. Chairman Mao gonna fall. TP from Charyu to try and live. But that's not what you wanted. You wanted to set up 2 lanes of pressure with the super minions, and now Team Wet on full retreat. Bow Explode still looking for more. Might be able to get this stun on a 1 week. Does look like he's going to be able to land it. Kenny Hammerspike gonna pick this one up, and INT turning things around once again.
Yeah, and that is a mistake. Oh, mid laner 1v1.
Yeah, Charyu lands the stun. Zanya's going to come through from Jeffus, but is it going to be enough to keep him alive? Just going to have to walk away.
It's
Ultimate
enough!
will do it, and Jeffa's barely surviving and taking full advantage comes up huge.
Yep, that Zanya's paying off, blocking all the Syndra ult damage pretty much, and yeah, INT really on a roll here. I think that's Bacon Pancakes, thinking, hey, I'm a 7-1 Darius, I can be here, I can 1v2, but at this point in the game, it's late enough that, yes, the set's still behind, yes, the Udyr is not the strongest in the world, but they've gotten 3 items. Like, this is no longer the point where you can easily 1v2 because you're strong, and I don't know, it's a tough game. I think the Dragon Soul fight's going to just determine the game, but man, I don't know who I favor.
Yeah, Fish actually up a level on Bacon Pancakes will still go down, so we know that, not everything has changed. Bacon Pancakes can still comfortably win that 1v1, but both teams going to split the map for objectives here. Looks like Team INT going to slam that Cloud Soul, but they're a little bit hesitant to start this Baron just yet. Now going to pick it up or try to start it, and actually they might be able to contest this here.
I don't know if I like this trade. This Cloud Soul, I think it's just so good for both these teams. There's just so many melees that want to get on top of you, and as a result, so many ranged characters that want to get away from them. So I almost might take this movement speed over Baron while Baron's up, and then of course Cloud Soul lasts forever, and Baron is 3 minutes. So yeah, this is Wet really has to make something happen with this Baron, and if they can't, I don't know how they're going to win fights against the mobility that INT has picked up.
Yeah, well, Jeffas did commit the ultimate to the bottom line wave, so that cooldown is not available for this fight. Kenny Hammerspike, though, going in, lands a huge ultimate on him. Chunks them very low, forces the Taric ultimate, now Bow Explode on the chase, forces the flash, and INT, not giving up their base without a fight, burns several really important CDs.
And Wet Team just seems scared. I mean, you have a Twitch running at you. There's no one between the Twitch and you. Like, if you're decisive, I think you can just turn around and go on the Twitch, and maybe, you just blow cleanse and Twitch us away. But that was just full retreat. There was no attempt to throw spells back. There was no attempt to do anything. I think that just, you can see that Wet Team is, after being so far ahead and then losing, they're sort of retreating into their shell. But I think they might be missing some opportunities as a result. They're playing so scared and so defensively that, I don't know if they can make a proactive game-winning play at this point.
I mean, they do have the tools to do it. They have the Sivir ultimate, they have the Hecarim ultimate, but
oh, for sure, yeah. Like their champions absolutely can win this game. I just the mentality that type of play screams out to me is just one of, we don't know what to do and we don't want to take fights because we've lost the last couple.
They catch Jeffas with the Eve, gonna force the once again another ward coming in huge.
But again, another chance where they could have full committed and they blow the Lulu.
They're gonna face check into Fish. Fish does huge. Oh no!
They were still alive. They were still alive.
Pancakes secures the kill. Ultimate gonna come through. Sivir alive, but running for the hills. The burst damage was just slightly too much. Chairman Meow now maybe going to be here to back things up. Triple kill over to Twitch as they continue to run this down. The slow from the E is going to be more than enough. Chairman Meow taken very low. Kenny Hammerspike going to maybe clean this up. Just barely going to walk away.
The poison. No.
Okay.
And there's no waves because of all the inhibitors down from that Baron. So INT cannot end. There's no Elder to take, but another fight win. And you can see, like, the initial pick on the recalling target was really good, and you forced Lulu ult. And then Hecarim ghosted and started running in, and you can tell that there was a split call because Hecarim ghosts and runs in, and then immediately runs away. I mean, you can tell that some people were like, oh, this is it. This is our fight. And some people were like, no. We got enough. We should move out. And that type of indecisiveness is exactly what I'm worried about for Wet as this game gets longer and longer, because they don't outscale, so they really need to be taking opportunities. And like we were talking about earlier, sometimes taking a mediocre opportunity but in sync is way stronger than waiting for the perfect one. So just the fact that they're not on the same page, they're not looking aggressive, I'm worried. But like, absolutely, their champions can win. I mean, Sivir can hit everyone in the same team fight with Ricochet. It's amazing. The Darius is still really fed. Hecarim, after the buff, scales really well. Syndra can blow up anyone. So, and Taric ult has potential to just deny INT a team fight. I mean, that ultimate is game changing. So, absolutely, there's tools for Wet, but just watching it seems hard.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that to give some credit back to Wet, they have put themselves in a position to win this game, right? We're at the 40-minute mark. At this point, one team fight could end the game, and they have the ability to do so. But Kenny Hammerspike comes in huge, and he completely shuts down Turtle of Doom, flashes forward, gets both of the carries. Now Fish McGish on the chase for Chairman Meow, not quite able to get it, but that's the proactive play that we're looking to find, and it's INT coming up once again.
Yeah. And there was not even a Lulu assist there. There were no Lulu steers. That was just Twitch knowing I have the damage to blow up this Sivir, and then I will take out the Syndra. And as soon as Twitch unstealth, those two carries are sort of paralyzed briefly, and that's all the window that this Twitch needs. And Gale Force in, everyone's dead, and I think INT might end it here.
Yeah, so as much as I love the supportal combat, I care more about this mid lane push, because without any ranged characters, it's very difficult for them to secure this fight. And look at the damage that they do to these turrets. Ultimate coming out from Hecarim, trying to do something. The flash forward from Bacon Pancakes does not quite find the ultimate.
Oh, they get Twitch
yet, but they do find Twitch. They manage to push him off the waves, and this is going to be enough time to be able to get the remaining members back up. Turtle of Doom is back, Churyu is back, and I think that they managed to hold, but oh my goodness, INT taking them to the very last threshold.
Yeah, he who slops does win the 1v1 against one Sweek. Lulu is victorious, and as a result, there will be a mana advantage still on the map here. So I think this will be Elder Drake to INT. Although without an 80 carry, I mean, maybe the damage isn't there. Maybe everyone respawns again and we do it again. I mean,
Yeah, Jeffas has not been able to recall, does have access to that teleport, but might be in trouble here as you see multiple members of Team Wet gunning for that objective, trying to take advantage of the tempo here. Bacon Pancakes gonna land a hit on a Fish McGish, but now has to be a little bit careful. Teleport coming out from Jeffas, and oh man, this is the game-deciding fight here right now around this Elder Dragon.
and they need to wait for Tarek. I mean, they don't. I guess Twitch is also still coming, but. Yeah, no Hecarim, no Tarek. I think you have to stall this. And Elder is very tanky. You can afford to wait a little bit, but you also can't give this. I mean, there's no way you ever win against this Elder with Inhib done. They will walk in your base and kill you.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna try.
They're gonna give it.
They're gonna give, and they're gonna try and sneak Baron.
Oh, it's too late. They're too slow.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're just gonna run to Baron, and you can have one person push mid, and everyone else go to Baron, or you can just 5v5 them at Baron. And
great stun from Charyu. Now the run is trying to get out of here. Ultimate gonna land, but look at the
good
great
Terrigal! Great Terrigal!
But they find Twitch! They turn things around! Twitch is completely exposed! Oh my goodness! I can't believe it! Against Baron buff! Team Wet! A quadra kill for Bacon Pancakes! What is even happening?
Team INT forgot about Terracolt. They're like, oh, we have this big game-winning fight button. Like we can't lose, and they can't lose as long as they wait out the Terracolt. But they don't. They just run in, and they can't do damage.
Yeah, look at this great stun, and
this Terracolt is huge. It's huge.
They turn around. They take zero damage.
That is.
Oh my lord.
Can they end? Okay, so the thing is, INT has mid inhib down, so they can't get mid wave. I think you try and push top wave, and that's where Sivir's going. It's actually not. You have a long time. You have 45 seconds. I think this is an end, but I'm not positive. And they send Syndra back. Syndra has teleport, so can rejoin just to guarantee that they don't lose towers. They don't need to. I like that. And Bo Explode, he has to try and get to the wave somehow, but.
Bo still has Elder buff as well, so even though he's a one-man army, he is pretty threatening to Bacon Pancakes. Stun gonna land the
CC immune
out really low, CC immune, so it looks like it's gonna be double inhib at least. Baron buff still on a couple of members. They're trying to end the game.
Blow him up.
We'll pick up the ace, and I can't believe it, Utility Monster, but Team Wet putting one on the board and making INT lose their first match. No longer undefeated.
Oh my god. I thought Wet had it the early game. They had a great start to the game, and INT fought back. They played it perfectly. They got some picks. They got a Baron, and Wet looked scared. They just didn't look like they knew what to do, and then they did. They made a decisive call, and I don't think it was the right call. I was saying the entire time, you can't give Elder, but they did. They were all on the same page. They all went in, and they won. Oh my gosh, what a way for INT to take their first loss.
That is absolutely what... You know, I feel like with so much excitement in that game, that's a game that both teams are going to go back to the review board on and just go like, okay. So there were some mistakes, you know, but like what a photo finish. You know, I have to give credit to both teams. You know, they had different moments of brilliance in that match, and it for sure was an entertaining one.
Oh my goodness, that was a great. That might be my favorite game of the season so far. That was awesome to watch, and I hope we get 3 more of those today.
Oh, I don't know that my throat could take 3 more of those. Please, please.
Well, we'll be back soon with an interview with the winning team, Team Wet, and or Wet Team, excuse me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here after that absolute banger of a match from our friends here in Heroic at In the Trees versus Wet team. And in the end, Wet comes up with the burger flipped onto their side. So congratulations. I'm joined here by Once Weak, who is no longer weak. How are you feeling after the big win?
I'm crying right now, honestly. It's good. I feel great. My team feels great. That was such a fun game against INT. I wanted to show how much we improved, and I'm glad that we took this one.
Yeah, I mean, let's start from the beginning. I want to walk through this step by step because it was such a monumental win. What was the plan coming into the game, setting up for this draft here? You yourself ended up with the Taric, which came up big at the very end. The Silver Taric is a classic, and then you folks had Bacon Pancakes just clapping cheeks up in the top side on Darius. So what was your plan coming in with this draft, and what you ended up against?
I honestly want to build a team with speed, and I know with Sivir she gives us that team speed, and Darius wants to like go fast, so that's how I built it. I honestly kind of forgot that Udyr was available for team play nowadays, so I didn't expect him to pick it, but you know it still worked out in our hands. Mid lane they were banning out Charles quite often, so we just had to pick the next best option, and it worked out as well. So just keeping it simple.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty stock standard there, you know. And then you get into the game, everything seems to be pretty much going your way. The Syndra was putting out a lot of pressure onto Jeff's early. You know, you had a set that was just unfortunately getting savagely run down by Bacon Pancakes, and then every now and then Chairman Meow would get up there and just remind him that also jungle exists, and it was pretty brutal. But in the end, in the mid game there, In the Trees did show us their pedigree, what they're known for as victors in this league, and they struck back in a big way. What was your comms like through the mid game as you folks were trying to claw this win?
Yeah, the same calm, honestly. It can be, you could feel, I guess we were like getting a little extra nervous once we kind of gave up a few bounties. We knowing that we no longer had the huge advantage we did before, but we just had to keep on trying. You know, we just had to like take a deep breath, move on to the next play, think about what do we have to do next for the next 30 seconds, and just keep playing until the Nexus dies.
Hell yeah, dude. One thing I want to touch on specifically is, of course, the game-winning play. In the end, you folks had opted for the burger flip of burger flips. You traded the Elder Dragon for the Baron. Of course, the caveat being that if you do that, you do have to go up against and win a fight against an Elder Dragon and Baron team. Emboldened team rather. You folks do get the Baron at the right at the moment as they're cresting into the river. Talk to us a little bit about what I had deemed the PayPal moment, because clearly they got to check their PayPals. They conga line right into the perfect spot for not only you folks to group and to get into the Taric ultimate, but you for your Taric ultimate rather, but then the Hecarim was just sailing right over your shoulder right into their full team and hit, I want to say 4 if not all 5 of them with the ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that they were on Elder Dragon, and the way we were positioned, we were walking into a choke, so it just felt like a very bad idea to just try to like go in that way. So knowing that like Dragon's kind of lost, or the mission failed to get Dragon, we decided to just opt for Baron instead. And by that time, I told my teams I have ultimate, so like if they do try to chase us down, I'll just drop it and then run away. But to tell you the truth, I didn't know what happened the moment I dropped it because I was trying to run and then I see Julian Chairman Meow just go in and then next thing you know like half the team is just decimated. It's like that's when my jaw just dropped. I was like, oh my god, I think we just won.
You're just trying to keep the circle underneath everyone, and you didn't realize like, oh, we're about to murder the hell out of these guys.
I did not know. Julian's a beast. Brandon made that like fantastic call on Baron. I was a little scared to do it, but we just trust each other. Whatever the call is, we just do it 100% and commit.
All right, well, in the trees, in the end, check PayPal. Thank you very much, Dub, for wet team here, and no longer weak. Your opportunity here. Final thoughts.
INT, thank you. You guys are always fun to play. I hope y'all continue to do well, and for everyone else, we'll see you again because this is the start of the second half of the season.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, once week, thanks so much for the interview. Congrats to Wet Team for this monumental upset, striking the first blow against In the Trees. And you know what they say, if it bleeds, you can kill it. So we'll have to see how In the Trees does manage here in this second round robin. Obviously, 7-1, still powerful. But, it remains to be seen how these teams, if teams like Wet Team here are getting activated, there might be some more challenges to the throne. So we'll be back soon. Our second game of the day is coming up after just a very short break, and we'll be back with our second game of the day, so don't go too far.